All right, it's kind of a familiar sight, pumping water out of the Simcoe Street underpass earlier. This was completely flooded out. Now, no surprise that happens, but the surprise this time is the culprit. Just behind my cameraman, it's Lake Ontario. It is looking at near record levels for the water, and it's not just an underpass that has to worry about being flooded. That was the Queen City Yacht Club launch on the island in 2009. Look at the water levels this year for it. A massive difference, and one that is threatening to wash out not just the Simcoe Street underpass, but homes and parkland on the island and all along the waterfront. This is Bluffers Park, the new boat ramps being built. They sit just inches above the water.
This is what one of the backyards looks like here in Sodas Point. You can see that these sandbags right here line the perimeter of the yard. On the south side of the lake, in and around Syracuse, they are bracing for the worst.
You know, hand trucks and wheelbarrows, and there's a lot of labor involved. There's a lot of volunteers. People are helping each other. There's a lot of elderly people, so it's good to have help, but it's a lot of work.
Many in New York State are blaming a new plan that went into effect in January. Plan 2014 was created over more than a decade by the bilateral committee that oversees the Great Lakes. The goal is to allow the lake to rise 2 inches higher than average in the spring and 2 inches lower than the norm in the fall.
And the idea is that it'll restore 90% efficient fish habitat on Lake Ontario. So it's a really great plan from an environmental point of view.
Mark Matson, founder and president of Lake Ontario Waterkeeper, says Plan 2014 isn't to blame for the high water this spring. And he says over the long run, it will help restore the lake and its shoreline.
You don't want to live on a septic, dead, proselytized lake. So it does bring about life, but also culturally. It allows for a lot more recreational activities. It allows for a lot more connections to the lake.
So just how high is the lake? Well, it's come up 45 centimeters in April and sits at 247.5 feet. Now, the norm is about 245 feet, so it's about 2 feet above normal, ranking it as one of the highest water levels ever, matching 1993 and 1974, and it is just 9 inches below the record year of 1973. Matson, though, believes this year is simply a perfect storm.
Right now, the Great Lakes, all the water levels are up, right from Superior, Erie, Lake Huron, Lake Michigan, and Lake Ontario. And some people feel it's the warmer April. Snow melt and rain occurred at the same time.
Another possibility that some people have bandied about is the flooding they are experiencing in Montreal is actually leading to Simcoe, the underpass, flooding because they are keeping the locks, the dams at the power stations closed in Cornwall to help reduce the amount of water going down towards Montreal. Natasha, maybe you can give us a little clearer explanation as to what the main problem is, or just a combination of everything.